What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode on Proven Power Cycles. For those who don't know me, my name is Eric, and we got Sean and Lewis in the other room right now. So we're at the new shop. The dyno room's separate now from the main shop, unlike how it was at our previous location. So I'm all alone. I'm all out on the other side of the warehouses now. Anyway, today we have a brand new 2024 GSX-R750.
Oh, that was fun.
So this bike, it has a full M4 exhaust system. It is it's a stainless exhaust system, I believe. Yeah, he's sitting on a stock chain and sprocket kit. Really, the bike is pretty much stock aside from this exhaust. Oh, here's the kicker. So he's got a Power Commander 6 installed. Now I can't remember exactly what he said, but I'm 99% sure he told me that somebody messed with the map. I don't know if it was him or if it was another shop. That's the only detail that I can't remember exactly, but it's got a Power Commander in it. Somebody did try to mess with it, and they said they couldn't really make, ends meet, or they couldn't make heads or tails of it rather. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start up this bike. Now I haven't looked at anything. We're gonna run through it. Let's see how it's running, because a lot of times when I hear these things where somebody tries to mess with it or a shop tries to mess with it, and they don't really specialize in this kind of stuff, I usually see something interesting. Usually. About 99% of the time I see something interesting that makes me go, it's way off. So let me go ahead and get this thing fired up. Let's get it warmed up. I just got done checking the oil, checking the tires. We did just get done setting it all up. We've got the wideband all set up. We got the RPM, everything is set up. So we're gonna run through this bike. We're gonna get an overall health report on the bike and see kind of what's going on with it. And then we're gonna go from there. So what we'll do, we'll baseline it, we'll analyze the graph really quickly, and then we'll move on and start doing the ECU flashing and dyno tuning process and wake this thing up. So no matter what, there are restrictions built into this ECU. So for those of you guys who don't have a Power Commander, which you don't really need, but if you do, there are restrictions built into the stock ECU. So the Power Commander cannot de-restrict your ECU. The only thing the Power Commander does is manipulate the signal being sent from the ECU to the injectors, okay? And it's usually just the lower set. Most bikes nowadays have 8 injectors, most of these street bikes. So it only manipulates that lower set of injectors, okay? So just wanted to let you guys know that. That's the only thing Power Commander really does, all right? Unless you get the ignition module or a secondary fuel module or the quick shifter, it's very a la carte with Power Commander, okay? So again, all right, let's warm this thing up. Let's go through it. Let's see what's going on with the bike, and let's go from there. So we got about 120 out of it, but look at what we're seeing here, all right? We've got this mountain right here that goes to 16.2, which I was showing you guys kind of earlier in that partial throttle pull. So it goes up to 16.2, and then it dips all the way down to 11.38. And it stays there, 11.36 or so. And it kind of lingers here for quite a while. So between, it looks like 7,500 RPM, like 5,500 or so, all the way to 7,500 is absolutely atrocious. So, and then not only that, but again, down here at 4,000. So really anywhere from like 4,000, I would say realistically like 3,500 on your tack. But 3,500 all the way up to like 8K, this thing probably feels like dog crap. So, and if you look right here, we have kind of a lag in the torque. Then it jumps up, it does jump up, but then it flatlines, and then we actually lose torque all the way till like 7,000 RPM. Yeah, it's 6,800. Let's say 6,800. Then 67, 75, yeah, 68, yeah, 6,800. Then it wants to pick up again. The torque curve picks up again. So right here at 7K, this thing starts to wake up. And then it pulls torque, and then it flatlines real nice, right? And then up top again, we have another little restriction up top right here. So this little restriction, we're gonna pull out of the ECU, and then we're gonna fix all this nasty air fuel. So even up top here, we're at a 12.3 air fuel. So 12.3, 12.3, 12.3, 12.2, 12.3, 12.4. So all this is just really, really rich on top of having those restrictions in the ECU. So this thing's gonna wake up. It's gonna make a lot more power. It's gonna pick up really nice. This little dead spot right here, we're gonna wake this all up. This whole low end's gonna wake up extremely nice once we go ahead with this ECU flash. So watch this. What we're gonna throw in a map. I'm gonna zero out this power commander map, and I'll just throw in a base map and watch the transformation just on this base map, all right? So we got the ECU all flashed. We have a base map into it. I don't know how the base map's gonna do because there was a map on the power commander. So we're gonna find out together. But the thing that I wanted to show you guys was just to kind of, again, kind of prove it, if you will. I don't know how else to word it, but here was the map that we pulled from the power commander, okay? So if you look very closely, we have values that are just skyrocket. This is just abnormally large, 42, 35, 34, 37, 30s. So normally we don't see numbers like this. This is extremely, you know, this is a big move on a number. I don't want to say this across the board because there are some bikes that do require quite a bit of extra fuel versus the OEM system. But this is pretty excessive for a GSX-R750. Unless you have an issue, you shouldn't really be utilizing numbers that high. So we're gonna go ahead and zero this out. We're gonna send it up into there. All right, so now we have a zeroed out map. So we just wanna show you guys, we are gonna be working off of our flash right now. And then we're gonna come in here and touch up any kind of the mapping that we need to touch up for the power commander to kind of get it all, you know, dialed in. It'll be easier to dial in this map because we're gonna get live data and we'll be able to kind of critique it very quickly and on the fly. So I'll be able to knock out the tune a little quicker than just going straight through the ECU with all the interruptions. So, all right, let's get this thing rolling. I'm excited, I wanna see what this thing's gonna lay out. So here we go. So we just got done running the bike, and okay, so just to recap, we zeroed out the map for the power commander, and we have a base map, bench flash, if you will, through the ECU right now. So here, all I did, I just labeled the graphs, all right? I just labeled the baseline versus the this bench flash or mail-in flash, whatever you want to call this. So let's analyze these numbers. So look down here. Immediately we picked up 39, 45. Immediately we picked up 6 pound-foot. Well, let's be fair, 40, 45. So about 5.5 pound-foot of torque, which is going to be a substantial gain. That's going to be damn near well over 10% at this point. Well over 10% gain. That's about 11, 12% gain. And here we have about a 4.5 horsepower gain. Again, multiply that by basically 3, so about 12%. Yeah, so we're sitting about a 12% rate of change all in all, just from the stab itself. So then all of a sudden you come up here, it's about 6.5. We still have some power picked up. Now I'm gonna work on this area a little bit more. I'm gonna spend a little bit extra time in here. But all in all, we're picking up pretty damn good gains. And then even up top here, I mean, look at this. We're picking up a solid Where is it? There it is. We're already at 131 versus the 118. So what is that? 12, 13 wheel. So we've already picked up 13 horsepower up top also. So not bad. The map, all in all, needs a little bit of love. So it is running a little bit on the leaner side, which is okay. That's not a big deal. So we're going to critique this top end. We're going to touch this up. We're obviously going to touch up all this mid-range. We have a little lean spot right here. Pretty big lean spot. So what I'm going to actually do, I'll probably end up flashing the ECU again, getting these numbers a little bit closer, even down here. I'm going to get these numbers a little bit closer, and then we'll go ahead and get in the power commander and clean it all up. You know, all the little 5-10% error rate of change or errors, I'll get all that cleaned up in the power commander. But these major jumps, like the 15-20%, that kind of stuff I'm going to fix in the ECU. So that way if this power commander ever takes a crap, he's not going to be stranded, or it's not going to be like the bike's not tuned. So it'll still feel pretty good even if the power commander gives up. So not a bad start. Ultimately, we're at 11 wheel gain on horsepower, peak versus peak. And then we're at a good 2 to 3 or so, 2.5, or no, 2 pound-foot of torque, peak versus peak. But as we said, like even look up top here already we're picking up about 7 wheel torque, 6.5 wheel torque up top as well. Big gains, guys. This is going to be a very noticeable difference for this guy, and we just started. Alright guys, so here's the deal on that GSX-R750. I said that it had a full M4 exhaust, which I thought that's what it was based on what the owner was telling me. But when I was down there, I kind of looked, because honestly, this power band, as I was dyno tuning this bike, as I was going through the mapping and everything, I noticed that the power curve isn't indicative of what the M4 exhaust systems typically do. So it made me kind of wonder, and I started looking at the exhaust a little closer, and it comes to find out it's a Black Widow exhaust system with an M4 slip-on, but it's not a full-on M4 slip-on. It's actually an eBay version of the M4 slip-on. So it is a knockoff M4, but it's okay because it still did very good. And as I told you guys in the past about some of these exhaust systems, about the Black Widows and some of the other, I don't want to say off-brand, but just not as popular exhaust systems that are, and they're also a cheaper option, they are coming to light. So there's little things about them that kind of take away some of the drivability and power band, but then other parts of it where it does just as good, because as we discussed in previous videos, really what's important is the exhaust opening and the collector on the header and the primaries. Like that's really more or less the important part of everything, not necessarily what brand it is or what material it necessarily is. As long as it holds together and it flows, then that's kind of what's the important part about all of this. But let's go over the numbers. We're gonna hit it from the start to the bottom again real quickly, all right? We're gonna go over everything again and show you guys the major differences that occurred here. So here we go. So just a quick recap, not gonna spend a lot of time on this. The bike made 120 wheel with 53 pound-foot of torque. And remember, we had this big dip right here, and we had the restriction up top, and then we had a little loss here in the torque and power down low. We were very lean, came rich, stayed rich. So, and I showed you guys the mapping, kind of, you know, what it showed. So then here is our bench flash. This would be like a mail-in flash, if you will. Now the flash that I chose was for an M4 system, not necessarily for this setup, but we already had good gains down low, we had good gains in the mid-range, and then it carried all the way to top end with you know, de-restriction, and the air fuel was pretty damn close up top here. So we actually almost ended with 132 wheel, which is really impressive considering the setup of the bike, with 55 pound-foot of torque. Again, very impressive numbers considering what the bike has on it. And here, let's overlay the final now. So we'll take off the bench. So really there wasn't a major difference It was about a 3-wheel to 4-wheel gain, which is still pretty big all in all, but it's still not a major after the bench flash. But I will tell you this, a lot of what we fixed was in partial throttle mapping. There was a ton to fix in that partial throttle, which is what I've kind of shown people in the past who actually come into the shop. So people that have been here in the past that have actually showed up to the shop where we're doing custom dyno tuning for them, what we do is we actually walk you through what we've changed, and we show you guys, we sit you guys down and kind of analyze and show you what we've done. So doing what we're doing here, we're just kind of doing it on a high level, going through it very quickly, kind of showing you guys the gist of it. And you know, you guys that aren't necessarily locals or who aren't going to send their bike here, we're at least trying to explain it to you high level, so that way you can kind of get an idea. But when you're here, we go over it a little bit more in depth for those who really want to know. We go through it and really show you guys what we've done and all the changes in partial throttle and all that. So with the final tune now, we ended at 133 wheel with 56 pound-foot of torque. So massive jump, man. 13 wheel gain is massive on a Gixxer, on a 750. So picked up about 3 wheel down low all in all. And truthfully, if we would have had that M4 system, this is where it would have made that difference. That M4 would have picked up quicker, and we would have had a better transition going into this top RPM band, this top power band here. But look at the gap, look at the spread up here on top. So 133 compared to 118, I mean, just insane. That's a 15 wheel jump up top at a higher RPM, which, you know, these things love to be at that higher RPM. These bikes are incredible. Incredible power for the exhaust system that he had. I mean, this is definitely a budget build, if you will, on the exhaust. I mean, that Black Widow system is not that expensive. The headers are very cheap compared to what some of the other headers out there go for. I don't know off the top of my head, but I can tell you that they are a lot cheaper. I want to say they're only about $400 or $500, something like that for the headers. So. All right, guys, so the owner of the 750 is here. We're gonna go ahead and let him go on a test drive. Get it warmed up though, I will say that. Get it warmed up.
I'll try getting it around like 150.
Good, that's perfect, yeah. Honestly. Before you go for a ride, yeah. Goes. All business leaving. Let's see if we can catch him real quick over here. All right, he's gonna make a left. Guarantee you, he already feels the difference. Now guys, I'm gonna ask him that, so you saw, I don't know if you saw, but I know you could hear it because it's pretty loud, but listen to how he left. He basically kind of gave it a little bit of partial throttle. He didn't really give it a whole lot of juice. The bike's still warming up also, so it's gonna still be like in this kind of choke phase, if you will. But when he comes back, I'm gonna ask him, and again, we're not gonna cut this, we're not gonna do anything like that, but I'm gonna ask him, hey, how did it feel the moment you left? Even like giving it that little bit of throttle that you gave it, which sounded to me about 10% or so. Nothing crazy, just real light acceleration. I'm gonna ask him, how did that feel? Even that light acceleration. So again, I'm saying this now while he's going on the test drive. So again, as he comes back, we're gonna get the real raw, his honest opinion, if you will. Because I mean, I've told you guys in the beginning, my whole goal was to be very transparent with you guys and to be very open about how our tunes are and how our work is. So he was already happy, as you could see. He was already like, oh my God, the idle sounds totally different. And I'm like, all right. I wasn't expecting that, but some people say that when they come back and they hear their bike for the first time in a long time, for the first time after I've tuned it rather, they've spent a long time on their bike. They're the ones that are coming, they're like, oh my gosh, I already noticed a difference. All right, here he is. How it's supposed to feel, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
All right.
Give her a fucking nice ride.
Give her a little juice.
Yeah.
So when you left, like even right there, that little bit of throttle when you left, just like that 10%, you know, how did that feel compared to what it used to feel like right there?
It feels like instant power compared to like before it was like bogging out and shit like that. Now it's as soon as you hit that throttle,
it's there.
Go. Yeah.
Boom. So that's actually, when you were leaving, I was kind of talking about it a little bit. I was like, all right, even though he just kind of gave it a little bit of throttle there, I'm sure he's going to feel a difference, but...
Yeah, when I hopped in the 275 right there, I was like, let me see what this thing's got a little bit.
And immediately. Yeah. I had a feeling, like when I saw the map, I was like, dude, usually I can analyze it pretty quickly, and I'm like, oh man, I'm like, this is going to be totally different than what he was used to. Big difference up top?
Yeah.
What do you notice the biggest difference? Let me say that.
Biggest difference for me?
And I mean, I know this was like a very short drive, you know what I mean? Like we're going to be real about it, you know?
I'm going to take it around, I was thinking about heading to OCC tonight, so I might go take it for a spin. But, the biggest for me would be from a dead stop coming out. Like before it was tuned, it was just felt like it wanted to die out.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, and now if you let off the clutch and it just fucking wants to go.
Wants to roll, just roll right into. Yeah, it almost like it carries its own weight. You know, as you're like giving it the throttle, it's kind of like it just wants to go. You know.
Very smooth.
But dope, man.
Thank you again.
Cool, bro. Yeah, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. Hell yeah. That's what it's about. Honestly, it's about that enjoyment, you know. But anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I love the 750 platform. This is one of my favorite street bikes. I've said that in the past, and I'll say it forever. It's one of my favorite little street bikes. The power to weight ratio on them is killer. You know, it'd be fun to do a little built motor on these things. It'd be a ton of fun. I'd love to do that. So if you guys have a 750 out there and you want some work done, let us know. Give us a call. 813-908-FAST. That's 813-908-3278. Let us hook up your ride. Let us make it quick. Let us make it all the things, peppy and all that jazz. With all that, thank you again for your support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everything, the comments, the likes, all of your support helps this channel grow, and I can't say thank you enough. I really can't. I mean, we're almost at 10,000 subscribers now, which is mind-blowing considering I've only started this about a year and a half ago now. So truly like getting really underway on this about a year and a half ago. So thank you guys. I really appreciate that. It's awesome. Love you guys. We'll see you on another episode.